Hello, and welcome to the final part of this speed build. It's not really crazy to think about because, well, 3 parts isn't that much, but, this house is finally done. This entire speed build will just be of me furnishing the entire rest of the house that I haven't done yet. Which I did try to push myself a bit with this house, as mentioned before. It was definitely out of my comfort zone to do more with decorating than just what I usually do, but I really like the outcome for this house. It's one of the few that I haven't looked back a month later and been like, wow, I hate this. Which some houses have reached that point. I think 3. The very first house that I made, which of course it's going to be the first one because it was the first, so it's only uphill from there. Other than that, it was the No Game Pass modern home from October of last year. And now it is the modern farmhouse from November of last year. It doesn't look bad. It's just that it makes me sad, because I just look at it and I'm like, oh, I could have done so much more with this. And I'm not really one for the modern farmhouse style. I think it's kind of trendy, but if you like it, that's you. I've just never really liked the whole modern farmhouse, like the stereotypical HGTV with the shiplap, for Bloxburg, like the linen colors. Yeah, that's never been my thing. I like more of a transitional style, which is this house. I tried to do the decoration of that, but it's kind of just a timeless, it's basically just suburban, like a modern suburban style, which is kind of this house. This was more of a traditional decoration, which I wanted to do like the formal living room, and the formal dining room is the space that like never gets used. So I feel like everyone has that one room in their house where it's just never used. Like you walk in there once and you're like, when was the last time we used this? Usually a dining room or like a formal living room if you have one, which I made this house with one because, well, I feel like that's kind of a common thing for older traditional homes to have, at least in the US. I was thinking that this home would be built around like 2000, and like the one I based off of in real life was kind of like 2005, 2006, which that's kind of why the cabinets are brown. It has like a bit older finishes with like the tiles, which for the upstairs bathrooms and the downstairs bathroom, I was kind of inspired by my own bathroom. Just simple white tiles with the cabinets, and that was about it. But just basic bathroom. This will be a shorter voiceover, way shorter than the last one. These parts of the speed build have not been equal in time. The first one was like 20 minutes, and that was with the tour and cinematic preview, so I only had about 10 minutes-ish of speed build. The second one was 40 minutes, so it was a lot more, and then this one's about 25-ish, so happy medium. As you can see right here, I am doing the pillows for the master bedroom, and I am not that familiar with working with the transform tool to make pillows. I did use Transform Plus for making the pillows, but you would be able to not use that. You just have to place the pillows a bit closer, like under the bed, to do it, but you can work around it if you don't have Transform Plus, which I don't see many people having that, because it is kind of a specific Game Pass. Like if you really want to detail, you can have this, and I got it because I make speed builds, and I might use it eventually, which I actually did with this. Yeah. I noticed now that I'm already a bit more comfortable with recording this, which is good because I don't want to mess up for the 5th time. I feel like I've kind of started, at least in like my personal opinion, that I've kind of started shaving myself as like the bad voiceover guy, which I don't want to do. Yeah. And how many times have I said already? Getting off track here. This bedroom, I didn't really decorate it too much. I wanted it to be kind of more like a formal space, which most bedrooms are, like the parent bedroom for this house. It's a space that's not really used much, which I was kind of going more for the living room with that for this house, and the basement living room, which this house, I've probably already said this in other voiceovers, but it's been like 2 weeks since I recorded the first one, so I honestly do not remember. But for this house, I wanted to make it like the pinnacle of suburbia. That's kind of what I've deemed it in my head, where it's like, okay, what could a suburban house have? And like, okay, it had formal living room, formal dining room, closet in the master bedroom, the basement with like a guest room and a workout room and a playroom for the kids. And I kind of rolled that up into one thing, and well, this is how it turned out. The master bathroom that I'm working on right now, I do this with all of my bathrooms, and I'm sorry if you're rebuilding this, because with all of the bathrooms, I kind of do them at once. Like when I start working on the master bathroom, I'll copy and paste stuff to the other bathrooms, because for me that just works better. That's just me personally. If you don't work like that, I'm sorry. I have seen in comments that there are quite a few of you that are building this house, like following the speed build to build it, and all I have to say is good luck, because I redid a lot of stuff with this house, and I am all over the place when building. So for those of you that actually follow my speed builds and build the houses, huge props to you, because I would not have what it takes to sit for 7 hours and watch it and do everything that I do, because I get frustrated building when I'm not watching myself building, when I'm just doing it like, oh, I could put a blow dryer here. Yeah. But I'm very all over the place with building, and I'm sorry for that. I've tried to be better about focusing on one space, but I just find it's more efficient to kind of work when it's on my mind, or else I'll forget. Which that's what I did with the air conditioning vents and electrical outlets. Is I was like, oh, I could place one in this bathroom, and then I just placed it all around the house. Which I guess that's kind of inconvenient, because you have to go back through the whole house, but it works better for me. I saw this earlier, which it's probably happened a while back, but I've been kind of inactive lately. Haven't really like looked at analytics and the channel as a whole, and just kind of, I haven't played Bloxburg in a while, actually. I got on like a few days ago, but I've been taking a break again, and that's something that I wanted to do this year, because last year, like August to basically November, I was just kind of working non-stop. I had a house I was building constantly. Like if I had any free time, I would be working on a house, which I was able to crank those builds out. So like whenever I would finish up a speed build, I would begin editing the next one like the next day, and it allowed me to keep consistency, which I'm sorry, but that's probably not gonna be a thing this year. I have, let's see, I have 4 builds in the works right now. And by that I mean I've started on 4 different things, but I haven't worked on any of them recently. It takes a lot to be a finished house for me, because I go through so many different changes before the final product, and the amount of times that I will start like building outside the layout and then scrap the project is kind of scary in a way. There was actually another house that I made before this, same layout for the downstairs, different upstairs, but I made the entire outside of it, did like windows, started to landscape, and I was like, you know what, I'm not feeling it, and so I deleted it. I've had that happen with there was the first build that I was making before the Suburban Craftsman, the first version of the Suburban Craftsman, which I was building it on my old laptop, which a MacBook Air from about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, was not the best hardware to record on. Well, MacBooks in general, which I could talk about that, because, yeah, Apple. I feel like Apple's either a love it or a hate it brand for everyone. It's like, I've never found someone that's just indifferent to it. It's either, oh, I'm Android and strictly Android, or I will buy iPhone and only iPhone. I have to say though, that from personal experience using macOS over Windows is the interface is just a lot simpler, and it's easier to find things for me personally. Like I've used both. I use Windows at school on school computers, and I use macOS at home. Like transferring photos, so if I find a photo on my phone for something that I want to use for a build, I can just airdrop it to my computer, and then it's there. And with messages synced and all of your accounts linked, it's really nice to just have everything connected. So, I've become a tech review, which, yay. I'm working on the Toddler Bedroom now, which, Toddler Bedrooms, I've only done a few, and most of them were not on a speed build. I will talk about that later, like my speed build projects. But I never really know what to do for toddler bedrooms, because the toddler furniture is so small that if you have even a decently sized bedroom, it's gonna feel empty. So I tried to like make more use of the space by having like a beanbag and another desk and a dresser. And I honestly don't remember if I used the full-size dresser or the regular toddler dresser, because again, I built this house like beginning of January, and it's already February 3rd. Yeah, it's the 3rd. So that means I'll be uploading this on the 4th. Because that's how I've kind of started doing it now. I'll record the voiceovers on Friday night, begin exporting the file from Filmora to my computer, and then get my shower, then come back, and usually it's done by then I'll get it to start uploading, schedule the time, and let it upload overnight. Which, used to, I would not be able to upload like the time that it takes me to upload, which my internet is still not good, but compared to what it used to be, we used to have, okay, so here it is, I did use the full-size dresser. Okay, so back to what I was saying. We used to have like DSL internet, I think it is, which was from like 2004. I'm gonna look that up. DSL internet. DSL came out in the 1980s and the 90s. Like, this was, yeah, this is like late 90s when DSL was a thing. So, like, download upload speeds, if you do check that kind of thing, it would be, on a good day, would get about 3 megabytes per second, which, if you do know or don't know, upload speeds, or the upload speeds, that would be like 0.3, which is absolutely pathetic. But now we did have a Verizon hotspot for a bit, which was better, and that's actually what I used when I first started uploading. We got about 10 to 12 megabytes per second upload, or download, that is. But now we have the Starlink, which is crazy fast compared to what we're used to. I know that most of you probably have really good internet, because one of my friends has like 500 megabytes per second download. And then there's me that's kind of become my like, whenever I play games online with my friends, that's kind of become the meme, is my slow internet, and would be playing Super Smash Bros. And it'd just be lagging the whole thing. They'd be like, Jack, come on, why is your internet so slow? And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I have no control over it. But it's got it changed now, and rocking and rolling. Don't know why I said that, but teen bedroom, working on that now. Sorry how I've been kind of all over the place. I build my houses like I am, all over the place. But this teen bedroom, I was kind of thinking is more of like okay, if I lived in this house and this was my bedroom, how would I want it to be set up? I'm like, okay, desk by the window, that way I could look out the window and be distracted the whole time. Because if there's any sort of thing to look at my desk, I will look at it instead of not doing work. Which is why my desk is facing Loft. But this house, I want to make it different. I did like the bed up against the corner with the laptop on it, so it's like, oh, you can sit here and do your work. Then I wanted to have like a futon for it, like a couch that folds out into a bed. And this hairpin couch is kind of the closest thing that we have to that in Bloxburg. So I used that, and I was kind of thinking this would be like a space to hang out with friends, and the TV on the wall to play games or to watch movies. And I honestly, for all 3 of the bedrooms, or all 4 actually, of the bedrooms of the upstairs of this house, turned out really well, and I very much like how they turned out. I would kind of, whenever I would be working on a bedroom and I'm like, okay, this is enough decorating, I would force myself to, I'd be like, okay, add a couple more decorations, just to push myself to decorate more, because it's not really something that I'm the wannabe architect. I like designing the outside and the floor plan, like all of the basics, but when it comes to decorating, I have no clue what I'm doing. Which, my sister and I kind of had this idea once, because she really likes interior design, and I like architecture. We're like, oh, we could have an HGTV show where I design the homes and she decorates them. That's kind of a pipe dream. I feel like everyone has had that at least once before. Like, oh, I could have an HGTV show. Just me? I thought of something and now I forgot about it. Oh! Well, it's already passed, but when I was talking about HGTV, there was this part where I was trying to fix the cabinet for the mudroom upstairs, because the door of the cabinet would clip down into the basement, and I still never figured out why it did that. I tried to fix it by moving it, I would delete it and place a new one, and it just kept doing, have this piece of wood clipping down into the basement, so I finally just deleted it, decided it wasn't worth it, and moved on. But what I'm working on right now is the basement rec room, which I probably mentioned this in the tour, whew. I'm gonna start scripting my tours, because I did that with no script at all, and I was just winging it as I went through the tour, and that was a huge mistake. The amount of pauses and like the uncertainty in my voice is just, ooh, it's not good. Which for the first tour that I did, the Winter Mountain Home, I think it was called, back in December, the tour was kind of fine. It was okay. And I was like, okay, it worked once, it'll work again. And I will not make that mistake again. It was not good, and I would redo it, but it's already uploaded, and it's already gotten almost 2,000 views, which, thank you for that. It's still crazy to me how... oh, I think a while back that I had mentioned I had saw something, and then I was talking about inactivity, but I saw that we hit 50,000 total views, which now that I'm saying that out loud, I think I said it earlier. I'm sorry, it's not as late as I've recorded previously, but I'm still apparently scatterbrained. It's approaching the end of the speed build, so I'll probably talk for a little bit more and then leave before it gets worse. This basement that I'm working on now, it's the last part. It's almost done, so if you're building this, the end is in sight, and I have to say that it is very much so worth it. If you are sitting through the 7.5 hour speed build of this, it will be a pain to go through, but what you will get in the end is the best house that I've made, and I can say that with confidence. This house is kind of like the luxury modern mansion was kind of supposed to be like the culmination of all of my experience into one build, but really, it's this. I've been building in Bloxburg for about 2 years now. I started playing in November 2020, which is nothing compared to some of you, because I know there's some of you out there that's been playing since like 2017, 2018. So you've seen the game change a lot. I started playing right before the structurals update, so I have little experience compared to some of you. But I've really tried to improve myself in this past year or so. It was really about this time of year when I made the channel. I think it was February 22nd maybe that I created my channel. February 13th. So in 10 days it will be the 1 year anniversary of me making this channel. Which it's been a year since I've wanted to make speed builds, and it's only been 6 months since I started. I was going to talk about kind of before I started making speed builds, but I can save that for the next voiceover. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it now, but it's probably gonna be a bit till I have something up. If it is next Saturday, which would be the 21st, no, it wouldn't. It would be the 11th. I can't do math. Somehow math was my highest grade. But if there is not a build on the 11th, I am sorry. It will probably be soon after that. I'm going to need to sit down and actually work on a house, because I have so many going at once and I'm not really working on any of them. So I think I'm probably going to have to scrap one of them, because I've just lost motivation for it, and it was definitely difficult to make to begin with, but okay, this house that I was making, since now that I'm talking about it, I am gonna scrap it. It's sad, I know, but I think it's just for the best. But I was actually going to make my real life house, which I was going to work with the Transform Plus tool to make like the roof line, because it's a type of house where the second floor is built into the roof line. Like right at my desk ahead of me is the wall comes up to about where the top of my computer is, and then it's just sloping up from there, which I'm in the corner of the room. So I have like the roof line coming at both angles. But it was gonna be a nice challenge to make it look accurate, since if I'm working on my desk, I can just roll my chair back and then, oh, here it is. But it was working with basic shapes with the transform tool. I'm still not too familiar with it, and I think it's best to just do a bit more practice before I try to do something of that caliber, I guess. Which it's not an inherently like big and detailed house. It's just I would have the frustration of not being able to make it look exactly accurate, and it would not be the best experience for me. So I think it's just best if I call it quits and work on something else. Which other builds that I was making, I kind of like to be secretive, but now I'm doing these voiceover things, so I guess I could share a bit more. I've started working on a Chick-fil-A because that was winning the poll, and I did the outside of it. I've got the entire outside, like the windows done, the walls, all of that, the logo. I was working on the parking lot and the drive-thru, and I was kind of I got a bit stumped on the layout of the parking lot and the drive-thru, like where to put the entrance, since I kind of built the restaurant in a weird spot. But I don't want to start over, so I'm just kind of waiting for my builder block to end. Another thing was a modern eco home, or it may be brutalist, I don't know. It's very early on, and I don't know how I'm going to go with it. Then the final one is a transitional home, another one, but it does use game passes and it's bigger. So yay, you can look forward to those coming. I'll probably start working on a modern home, but the speed build is almost done. Wow, I've almost finished it. So, I will see y'all later. Enjoy the house.